Hello, Collective. Wendy Joy, Love and Light. I've been seeking, questing, if you will, a lot of different answers for questions that I never once thought that I would be seeking knowledge of. And it's brought me to a heightened enlightenment of what is most likely actually going on. You know how they say that things are hidden right in plain sight? Well, from what I can tell, we as individuals go through different cycles of learning how to advance from a dense low vibration into a higher, loving, more light-filled, higher vibration through the quest or the journey of our life. And sometimes we are alerted or enlightened to the different questions that we should be seeking knowledge of, and sometimes we're not, because we haven't yet learned the lessons of past cycles. And we may find ourselves repeating them until we do step into a new vibration, like understanding, pivoting your mindset, looking toward a interconnected or a united, venture more than a self-serving, situation that truly doesn't usually benefit long term, without having some type of yin to the yang, the masculine to the feminine or the positive to the negative. Because as cycles go through and complete or play out, there has to be balance in between the growth and knowledge expansion road and the receiving the enlightenment or gaining the value of, which would be a great example of flowing with universal knowledge and cycles and forming your path with your intuition and your inner growth, right? That gives you personal development and leads you into spiritual development, which may very well, if it hasn't already, put you on the road to obtaining your very own quest to find out what the true answers really are, way more than where did we come from, what are we meant to do, because individually we all have a role to play, but collectively we're supposed to be keeping our vibration as high as we can in order to add to the frequency of the more enlightened or more beneficial road, that when each of us walk, it gives us benefit that not only uplift, us through the motion of the walk, right, the journey, but it also uplifts everybody around us when they see that everything that you put your mind to is possible. The problem here, the universe says hello. The problem here is that there are way too many people that are very comfortable in a low dense scarcity or a anxiety filled or fear based position, and they find themselves stuck, maybe almost like quicksand. And if you think about it, maybe they're not moving around because they don't want to sink any faster. Because when you apply motion in quicksand, if you're stuck in it, it'll take you down further, faster. That's a possibility, but that's not, I don't believe, what's going on. I believe what's going on is that the cycles that each of us go through are just a fractal, a piece of getting us ready for the larger cycle that enables the majority or the whole to participate in, where it's lifted from an individual basis to a collective group gathering, army, if you will, Because when people gather together and they put their energies and efforts and keep their vibration consistent in a loving manner, looking to seek doable solutions that benefit each human, every wildlife, that there is, the insect population as well, and also allow the earth to heal and to repair, whether it be from the inside out or from the outside in. But the earth has been under attack for as long as these dark entities have been trying to infiltrate our human consciousness. So what I've learned is that because we have the ability to co-create, because we have the ability to free will and discernment, and that we have a brain, right, that allows us to be able to process information, to be able to figure out what is, not true, too good to be true, a painted picture, or if it's actual reality, what it could be, what it is, what it was, right? And unfortunately, for whatever reason, society got looped up in a cycle where the veil was very, very thick, and it was very hard for individuals to be able to go through their personal cycles so that they could gather in with or gain momentum from participating in a group effort. And I don't mean like 2 or 3, I mean like millions of people need to respond and stand up and be tall and choose, no matter what the road will bring, because nothing that's worth anything is ever easily gained, or is it, given to you without effort. Meaning that you have to put your motion, your determination, your mindset, and more importantly, your desires, your energy, your vibration, and continue to uplift yourself so that you can add to the collective, so that we could all take our part. Not every single one of us was meant to be on the front line, because we do need leaders inward in order to gather up, to assure, to encourage, to support, and to lead with love. When we do this, then we're covering every corner of the earth, no matter if it's a country that you live in, a country I live in, or if we're looking to flip the whole thing over and start from the beginning. You see, when we do this, I am pretty much assured, and my team has been leading me and guiding me to this day, to this period, this time, for quite a while. And I believe that if we encourage each other to see the best in each other, that if we look to uplift and to appreciate the life that we were given, not the life we're living, but the life we were given, then we could actively remove, separate, extinguish the lower dense entities that have infiltrated certain groups of individuals by painting false illusion pictures. And this could have started, actually it did start, almost at the beginning of the new earth of time. Like, see, I don't want to say the new earth of time. So I would like to say longer than 300, 400, 500 years ago. I'd like to say that when Atlantis fell, when consciousness became too complacent, easy to achieve, there wasn't much value in learning lessons when we already knew everything. And whether you believe it or not, but there was a lot of individuals that had the ability to perceive the positive, but chose the negative. Because for whatever reason, they thought that they were going to get power, domination, or who knows what the original intent was. Maybe the original intent was to get people on a large majority or a huge level not to realize that the divinity that they carry within them, that their DNA, their ability, your DNA, your ability to co-create with Source, and their ability not to, right? They can't do it. They don't have what we have. That's why they infiltrate people that have maybe low aspirations, in regards to interconnectivity, but maybe, self-serving traits that, maybe lead them on a level that they're unaware of. But at some point, I'd like to believe that we're all given an opportunity when we self-reflect to be able to notice, to recognize, to remember the tragedies that all occurred when power and domination were taken in the extreme in the wrong direction, where self-serving aspects laid their seeds and continued to grow. So now we're living in a world, whether you want to believe it or not, where it's almost dead. Everything is almost dead. The pollutants, the toxins that these same groups of people over a course of time, right, we'll say 1,000 years, 500 years, whatever, they've been doing their best to poison the earth, to poison the atmosphere, to poison the ground, to poison you. And whether you want to believe it or not, I know that there's a whole bunch of fear-based tactics that these same groups of energies are doing their best to try to make sure that while they're hurting the earth and hindering you, that they're playing with your mind and filling it with things that just aren't true. But what I'm looking to accomplish is to flip the roles and to not allow the dense energies that can't really come into this dimension, right, to leave the other dimensions and stop infiltrating our consciousness for a negative, and allow the positive love and light to etch back into each individual, providing the love and the light that the earth needs in order to grow and survive. I mean, if you think about it, the earth is alive, we're alive, consciousness is alive, right? Because if you have consciousness, then that means that there's some part of you that is looking to see where we could add where we could make things better by bonding together and allowing no room, or better yet, illuminating these dark energies. Because as much as they want to be a part of the true light, they can't tolerate it. That's why, if you think about it, they changed our incandescent light bulbs to fluorescent. They took our paint away and gave us different paint. They took our vegetables and our fruit and our natural vitamins and minerals away and gave us chemical synthetics. Everything has poison sprayed on it because they're saying that, bugs are an issue. But let me ask you a question. Anybody who ever paid attention in school or remembers your childhood, and I'm talking to people that are born before the 2000s, maybe even before the 70s. I know I remember that the sky did not look like this. I know that the rain didn't burn. I know that the snow wasn't, it didn't turn black when you tried to burn it. It didn't smell like chemicals. I know that life was once better. It wasn't great because, bad things were still occurring, but it's been almost 100 years. Can you now see the amount of damage that's been done to everybody and everything that's alive, that, lives, breathes, bleeds, right? So let's not hold fingers, because there's no room for that. But what we can do is join hands and keep our vibration high so that we can force out the entities that are pushing us all about and trying to provide their existence through us instead of our existence with the Creator on a planet that was designed in order to aid, to allow our true growth and development, where we actually learn how to live and how to remember and how to love, and that we all go back with positive stories to tell. I don't know, what do you think? Can't wait to hear. Love and light.